Family, let me tell you something about a woman's love. It's powerful, it's patient, and it's often misunderstood. The greatest force in this world has always been love. And when it flows through the heart of a woman, it becomes a strength that can build, heal, and transform. But too often, that strength is taken for granted, misused, or overlooked. Today, I want to break down 6 key truths about the silent strength of a woman's love, so we can learn to value it, protect it, and never abuse it. A woman's love is sacrificial. A woman will give beyond measure. She will sacrifice sleep, comfort, and sometimes even her dreams just to see the people she loves succeed. That's not weakness, that's strength. But here's the lesson: sacrifice should never be one-sided. When we see a woman pouring herself out, we must also pour back into her. Because unchecked sacrifice without replenishment leads to emptiness. Her strength is silent, but it should never be invisible. A woman's love is healing. Many men don't even realize that they're walking in wholeness because of the silent prayers and nurturing spirit of a woman who loves them. A woman has the God-given ability to speak life into brokenness. But here's the teaching point. Don't mistake her healing for endless tolerance. Just because she can heal doesn't mean she should constantly be required to patch up wounds that you keep opening. Respect the gift of her love by living in a way that honors it. A woman's love is patient, but not endless patience is a form of strength. A woman's love waits, endures, and hopes. But hear me clearly, patience has limits. Too many people think patience means permanent tolerance of disrespect. That's not what it means. Patience is strength under control, but it still has boundaries. The lesson here is this: don't abuse her patience, because when it runs out, you will feel the silence of her absence more than the sound of her presence. A woman's love inspires growth. A real woman's love doesn't just accept you as you are. It calls you higher. It challenges you to grow, to evolve, to live with integrity. That's why you see men achieve greatness when they're supported by the right woman. But let's educate ourselves. Inspiration isn't manipulation. It's not about controlling someone. It's about nurturing their best self. If a woman's love doesn't inspire growth, then maybe it's not being honored properly. A woman's love is silent, but never weak. The world often mistakes silence for weakness. But silence is a form of wisdom. Sometimes a woman chooses silence not because she has nothing to say, but because she understands that love doesn't always need noise. Her love shows up in actions, in endurance, in faithfulness. The educational truth here is, never equate quiet strength with lack of power. Some of the loudest love is destructive, while some of the quietest love can move mountains. A woman's love reflects her self-worth. The way a woman loves others is a reflection of how she sees herself. If she's broken, she may love from a place of insecurity, but when she's whole, her love becomes a mirror of confidence, peace, and balance. That's why it's so important for women to protect their hearts, to set standards, and to understand their value. When a woman knows her worth, her love stops being just a silent strength. It becomes a guiding light for everyone around her. So family, the silent strength of a woman's love is not to be played with, not to be disrespected, and not to be taken for granted. It is a gift, a foundation, and a force that shapes generations. Let us honor it, let us respect it, and let us learn from it. Because when you honor the love of a woman, you honor the very essence of love itself. A woman's love is not casual, it is not shallow, and it is never cheap. When a woman loves, she gives from the deepest part of herself. She doesn't just offer affection, she offers her time, her energy, her peace of mind, and sometimes even her own well-being for the sake of the people she cares about. That is why I call her love sacrificial. Think about it. A mother will lose sleep just to make sure her child is fed and safe. A wife will put her own dreams on hold to stand beside her husband, believing in his vision even when the world doubts him. A daughter will carry the weight of a family on her shoulders without ever complaining, because in her heart she feels responsible for keeping the house together. These sacrifices are silent, but they are powerful, and they show us something that society often overlooks. Real love costs something. But here's the truth that many people fail to recognize. Just because a woman gives sacrificially doesn't mean that her love should be drained without replenishment. Sacrifice is meant to be shared. When one partner gives and gives while the other takes and takes, imbalance is created, and love begins to feel like slavery instead of partnership. A woman's sacrifice should be honored, cherished, and matched with gratitude and effort. Too often, we don't realize the price of her love until she is gone, and then we sit in regret, wishing we had poured back into her what she poured into us. This is where we must educate ourselves. Sacrifice in love is not a license for abuse. It's not a permission slip to take advantage of her kindness. It is a privilege, and with that privilege comes responsibility. If you have a woman who sacrifices for you, who stands by you when she doesn't have to, who carries burdens silently just so you don't feel them as heavily, then you have been blessed with something rare, and the right response is not to demand more, but to give more. When you pour back into her spirit, her body, and her dreams, her sacrifices don't feel like losses. They feel like investments that are paying off in love, respect, and growth. We must also remind women that sacrifice does not mean self-destruction. There is a difference between giving out of love and giving until there is nothing left of you. A woman's love is strongest when it is balanced with self-respect and self-care. Because if you burn yourself out for the sake of others, you can no longer love from a place of abundance. You end up loving from emptiness. And love given from emptiness can breed resentment, bitterness, and pain. The beauty of sacrifice is in its balance, giving freely but also being poured into, carrying others but also being supported. So when we talk about a woman's sacrificial love, let's not mistake it as something weak or passive. It is strength in its purest form, but it is also a call to action for those who receive it. If you are blessed enough to experience the sacrifice of a woman's love, don't ever take it for granted. Protect it, honor it, and most of all, give back to it, because that is how love remains alive and healthy. A woman's love has a healing nature that cannot be measured in medicine or science, because it flows from the spirit. When a woman truly loves, her presence alone can soothe wounds that words cannot touch. Many men don't even realize that the stability and confidence they walk in every day are often the result of a woman who has been silently covering them in prayer, speaking encouragement when they were broken, and nurturing their soul when the world tore them down. This healing power is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is as simple as her listening ear after a long day, her reassuring touch when doubt creeps in, or her faith when you have lost yours. That is the silent medicine of a woman's love. It brings life back into dead places, but the lesson here is that we cannot abuse that gift. Too often people assume that because a woman has the ability to heal, she should always tolerate the pain inflicted upon her. That is a dangerous misunderstanding. Just because she can heal you doesn't mean she should have to keep healing from you. Her love was never meant to be a bandage for wounds that keep being reopened. Her heart was not designed to be a permanent hospital for repeated injuries caused by neglect, betrayal, or disrespect. Healing love is powerful, but it was meant to restore, not to enable cycles of damage. When we receive the healing of a woman's love, we are called to rise to a higher standard. Her presence should inspire us to live in a way that honors her care. If she prays for you, don't keep living in a way that makes her cry. If she speaks life into you, don't repay her with words that tear her down. If she nurtures your growth, don't stay stagnant and complacent. The correct response to a woman's healing love is transformation, allowing her love to make you better, stronger, and wiser. Anything less is disrespect. Women also need to understand that their healing gift is valuable and should not be wasted on those who are determined to remain broken. Some people do not want healing. They want comfort in dysfunction. And if a woman keeps pouring healing into someone who refuses to change, eventually, she begins to feel drained, unappreciated, and unworthy. That is why discernment is important. Healing love is precious, and it must be given wisely. Protecting your gift is not selfish. It is necessary. Because when you save your healing love for someone who truly values it, that gift multiplies, and it not only heals them, but it strengthens you as well. So let us never take lightly the healing strength of a woman's love. It is the kind of power that builds families, restores broken men, and uplifts entire generations. But it should never be taken as an excuse for recklessness or irresponsibility. It is a gift from God, and every gift must be handled with care. When we honor the healing nature of her love, we create a cycle of restoration that blesses everyone it touches. Patience is one of the quietest yet most powerful strengths of a woman's love. When a woman loves, she often endures seasons of waiting, seasons of hoping, and seasons of believing in what others cannot yet see. Her patience allows her to hold on when storms come, to believe in the best of someone when others have already given up, and to nurture growth at its own pace. This patience isn't weakness. It is strength under control. It takes power to wait without losing hope. It takes discipline to stay calm when frustration could easily take over, and it takes faith to trust that love is worth enduring for. That is why patience is often described as one of the greatest virtues, and in a woman's love, it shows up in ways that silently shape families, relationships, and even communities. But here's the important truth. Patience is not the same as permanent tolerance. Many people confuse a woman's patience with her willingness to accept endless cycles of pain or disrespect. That is not the purpose of patience. Patience is meant to give space for growth, not to give excuses for abuse. A woman can wait for her partner to mature, to heal, or to step into his purpose. But patience does not mean she should keep waiting while being disrespected, mistreated, or overlooked. Every season of patience has a boundary, and once that boundary is crossed, her love begins to shift. It is important for men and families to understand this. When a woman's patience runs out, it is rarely sudden. Long before she leaves physically, she is often left emotionally and spiritually. By the time she chooses silence or distance, she has endured far more than most people realize. That is why her departure feels so final, because she gave more chances than anyone else ever would. Painful lesson many learn too late is that when you abuse her patience, you eventually lose her presence. And no silence is louder than the silence of a woman who once gave you her all. For women, there is also a lesson here. Your patience is a gift, but it must be balanced with wisdom. It's good to give someone room to grow, but don't allow that patience to keep you trapped in cycles that steal your peace. Patience should empower you, not enslave you. Love should teach, guide, and inspire, but it should never consistently break you down while you wait for change. Knowing when your patience is serving love, and when it is simply covering dysfunction, is one of the most powerful decisions you can ever make. So let's respect the patience of a woman's love. Let's understand that her willingness to wait, to endure, and to hope is not something to take lightly. It is a silent strength that deserves honor, gratitude, and reciprocation. And for the women listening, never forget that patience does not mean lowering your value. You can be patient with love while still protecting your worth, because when patience is balanced with boundaries, it becomes a force that builds relationships instead of breaking hearts. A woman's love is not passive. It carries the ability to call a person to rise higher. When a woman truly loves, her love does not just accept where you are. It sees where you can go. That is why many men throughout history have accomplished great things with the silent support and encouragement of a woman behind them. Her love creates an environment where growth feels possible, where potential can be nurtured, and where even broken dreams can be revived. She does this not by force, but by belief. When she says, "I believe in you," those words carry weight, because she often believes even when you don't believe in yourself. That belief becomes fuel, and that fuel drives growth. But here's where the education comes in. Inspiration is not the same as control. A woman's love is not about molding you into who she wants you to be. It's about pushing you to become the best version of yourself. Too often, people misinterpret love-driven encouragement as nagging or manipulation. The difference lies in intent. Manipulation is about serving her ego, while inspiration is about serving your destiny. A woman who loves with true inspiration isn't trying to change you for her benefit. She's challenging you to grow for your own benefit. And when you respond to that inspiration, you step into a version of yourself that benefits both of you. However, inspiration must be honored. If a woman's love constantly speaks life into you, but you ignore it, belittle it, or take it for granted, you are not just rejecting her words, you are rejecting her heart. Because every word of encouragement she offers comes from a place of sacrifice and hope. When she invests her belief in you, she's putting her emotional energy on the line. If that energy is consistently dismissed, eventually her inspiration turns into silence. And when her inspiration dies, so does the spark in the relationship. That is why it is so important to value the inspiration of her love while it is still being given. For women, the lesson is equally important. Your love should inspire, but it should not enable. If you keep inspiring someone who has no desire to grow, your energy becomes wasted on potential that never manifests. Inspiration should be reciprocal. It should create movement, not stagnation. When you inspire the right person, your love multiplies their growth. But when you inspire the wrong one, your love diminishes your strength. Knowing the difference is wisdom. Ultimately, the inspirational power of a woman's love shows us that love is not meant to keep people the same. Love is meant to elevate. It's meant to stretch you, to challenge you, and to draw out gifts you didn't even know you had. That is the silent strength behind her encouragement. It transforms lives without demanding credit. And when her inspiration is met with action, the result is not just personal growth, but collective growth. Families thrive, communities improve, and generations are shaped because one woman's love dared to call someone higher. The world often misunderstands the quiet nature of a woman's love. Many believe that if love is not loud, dramatic, or constantly expressed through words, it must not be strong. But the truth is, some of the most powerful forms of love are silent. A woman's love shows up in what she does when no one is watching, how she keeps the family together, how she notices the small details, how she sacrifices her comfort without announcing it, and how she continues to give even when she receives little in return. Silence is not the absence of love. It is often the depth of it. Her love doesn't always need noise because her actions speak in ways words never could. The mistake society often makes is equating silence with weakness. People think that if she's not constantly arguing, complaining, or demanding, it means she doesn't have power. In reality, silence can be one of the strongest responses. It takes strength to remain calm when provoked, to choose peace over chaos, and to love through actions rather than through constant declarations. A woman's silence is not emptiness. It is wisdom. It says, I don't need to prove my love. I show it. It says, I don't need to fight to be seen, because what I give speaks for itself. But let's be clear. Silence should not be mistaken as acceptance of disrespect. Many women stay quiet not because they are okay with how they are being treated, but because they have chosen dignity over unnecessary battles. Their love still shows up, but it is quieter, gentler, more measured. The tragedy is when this silence is misinterpreted and taken advantage of. When people assume that her quietness means they can do whatever they want without consequence, they set themselves up for loss. Because when a woman's silence shifts from love to indifference, that's when the relationship begins to die. The educational lesson here is this: do not confuse the volume of love with the value of love. Some of the loudest loves are destructive, filled with drama and instability. And some of the quietest loves move mountains, heal wounds, and provide strength that cannot be measured. If you are blessed with a woman whose love is steady, consistent, and silent, learn to recognize and appreciate it. Pay attention to her actions, because in them lies the evidence of her devotion. For women, there is also a reminder. Your silence is powerful, but make sure it is purposeful. Silence should protect your peace, not hide your pain. There is a difference between silent strength and silent suffering. One is rooted in wisdom and dignity, while the other is rooted in fear and suppression. When your silence is strength, it commands respect. But when your silence is suffering, it steals your voice. Know the difference, and never allow your silence to erase your worth. So let us understand that a woman's love does not need to be loud to be real. It does not need constant validation to be powerful. Her love is like oxygen, unseen, often unnoticed, but absolutely necessary. Quiet does not mean weak. Silent does not mean absent. In fact, sometimes the quietest love is the strongest kind of all. The way a woman loves is deeply connected to how she sees herself. When her self-worth is strong, her love flows from a place of wholeness, balance, and confidence. But when her self-worth is broken or undeveloped, her love often comes from a place of insecurity, fear, or desperation. That's why two women can both give love, yet the quality of that love looks completely different. One gives from a full cup, the other gives from an empty one. One gives with healthy boundaries, the other gives until she is drained. The difference is not how much they love, but how much they value themselves while loving. This is why self-worth is critical. A woman who knows her value does not beg for attention, tolerate disrespect, or chase after someone who doesn't see her. Instead, she sets standards for how she should be treated, and she loves in a way that is uplifting rather than depleting. Her love is not about proving she deserves someone. It's about sharing who she already is. That kind of love is magnetic because it comes from strength, not need. People are drawn to her not because she is desperate to be loved, but because her confidence makes her love radiant. On the other hand, when a woman doesn't fully recognize her worth, she can fall into dangerous patterns. She may give too much too soon, hoping her sacrifice will earn her love in return. She may stay in toxic situations, convincing herself that patience or loyalty will eventually change the outcome. She may even shrink herself, hiding her dreams, her voice, or her needs, just to keep someone else comfortable. This kind of love feels heavy because it is rooted in fear of losing rather than joy of giving, and over time it drains both her and the relationship. The lesson here is simple but powerful. The love a woman gives to others should reflect the love she has first given herself. When she fills herself with respect, peace, and purpose, her love becomes a gift that blesses everyone it touches. But when she neglects herself, her love becomes a silent cry for validation. That's why women must learn to protect their hearts, set healthy boundaries, and never confuse sacrifice with self-erasure. The stronger her self-worth, the stronger and healthier her love will be. For those who receive a woman's love, it is equally important to understand this principle. If you truly care for her, don't only enjoy her love, support her self-worth. Encourage her dreams, respect her standards, and remind her of her value. Because when her love is met with respect, it becomes unstoppable. It doesn't just bless one person. It impacts families, children, and generations. So remember this truth. A woman's love is never separate from her self-worth. The more she knows who she is, the more powerful her love becomes. And when her love flows from wholeness, it not only strengthens her, but it also uplifts everyone around her. Her love then transforms from a silent strength into a shining light that cannot be ignored. Family, when we step back and look at the silent strength of a woman's love, we see something that cannot be underestimated, cannot be dismissed, and should never be taken for granted. We've walked through the sacrifice of her love, the healing in her love, the patience she carries, the inspiration she provides, the quiet strength she embodies, and the reflection of her self-worth in how she gives herself. All of these together remind us that her love is not ordinary, it is extraordinary. It is a force that shapes lives, uplifts families, and builds generations. But with that truth comes responsibility. A woman's love is not here to be abused or misused. It is not here to constantly fix what others refuse to change. It is not here to be drained until she has nothing left. Her love is a gift, and every gift deserves honor. If you are blessed enough to have the love of a good woman, your duty is to respect it, to protect it, and to reciprocate it. Don't just take from her. Pour back into her. Don't just expect her to be strong. Be strong for her too. Because love is never meant to be one-sided, it is meant to be shared. For the women listening, this message is also for you. Never forget that your love is powerful, but its power comes from how you value yourself first. Do not confuse sacrifice with self-destruction, patience with endless tolerance, or silence with suppression. In this way, continues to protect it, guard it, morality, because your love has the power to heal, to inspire, and to transform, but only when it is honored. So as we close, let us remember this: the silent strength of a woman's love is one of the greatest treasures in this life. To the men, honor it while you have it. To the women, never underestimate it within yourself. And to all of us, let us learn from it, because her love teaches us what real strength looks like: quiet, steady, patient, healing, inspiring, and rooted in worth. When we respect and protect that kind of love, we don't just make relationships better, we make the world better.